have been along with us on this crazy ride.
You guys, we did a podcast.
We did the thing.
Yes, we said it. We wrote about it. We met about it. And we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Alissimo, we did it. Swipe or no swiping. I'm Hispanic. I can make that joke.
No one else can talk about Dora like I can.
Please don't cancel me.
Honestly, I feel like I would be Benny the ox.
And he's got that bandana. He was styling.
I don't know who this person is on Dora the Explorer.
She is a little older than us by like a year.
God,
Hey,
actually, it
guys.
was just someone's birthday.
29, I had my golden birthday. 29 on 29.
Happy
No, we
birthday.
can't do this for anybody else. We can't do it for me. That's not fair. No.
Shut down.
You're so very special.
Honestly, they're just mad at me because I made everybody sit through Minions fan fiction for my party. We did a TED Talk party, which we got to present on a topic and teach others about it, and I decided to torture everyone. It was really fun.
Banana. I'm Banana Lisa.
Oh, gosh.
You can't go back.
Nope.
We're all traumatized.
Yep.
Holly made us read some incredible literature that has just bored holes through my eyes.
Hey, now, I asked for volunteers, and you
I-
raised your hand.
Of course, because I love to help.
I just want to say I was, in fact, shit-faced from tequila, but I think I read my section very damn well.
You did.
You performed. You had voices. And Bryce,
I know.
he did voices.
It was great.
He's such a teacher, too.
Yeah,
But that was so fun. And I'm so glad we got to celebrate your birthday.
it was really fun. And Philip's birthday. My husband's birthday is 2 days before us, which I think I've said before in the podcast. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Two Leos.
We're Leos, so we just decided to make everybody be a Leo and present in front of everyone.
What is something that you have always wanted to try, but you were always afraid to do?
I've always wanted to do a cross-country trip. Like, just not plan anything, just drive with friends and stop wherever. But the not planning part scares me because I'm a person that I like to know where I'm staying. I like to know if they have 4 stars at least.
Yes.
It needs to be affordable. I need to know that I have food I can get at some point in a bathroom, especially. So it's very
You
scary.
just need a camper. Then you will know where you're staying and where your food is.
I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree. That would be kind of unnerving for me because I'm very like type A. Like I need to have a plan. Although I'm very middle grade. Like I can be carefree in some ways. But like if I'm going somewhere, if I'm putting my life outside of my norm, like I need to know exactly what's going on. But for me, something that I've always wanted to do, but I've been too scared, is to learn how to roller skate.
Roller blade
Roller-
or skate?
Either one.
Oh.
I
think-
love roller skating, so I'm happy to go with you.
Would you teach me?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually my preferred version of exercise. I go roller skating.
Let's go. I
Okay,
haven't skated
okay.
in a really long time.
Because like I have this dream ever since I saw Whip It with Elliot Page.
Yep.
So I just have always wanted to be part of a roller derby team. Like I have these vivid dreams and like
Fist and Kristen.
like it's just
This is really scary because you're gonna think I'm full of shit, but that was my answer. I want to be in a roller derby team.
oh my
I
gosh.
won't do it because I'm scared right now that I'm too overweight to do it. I'd like to lose more weight before because I don't want to like break several bones. I just like to break one.
You
Just
could
one.
skate though, for sure. Like I don't know about the other stuff for the derby, but we could go skating right now. I mean, not
Isn't
right
there
now.
like a roller rink really close by?
I think so.
There's
It's a
one in
big thing now.
Burlington that I go to, but I don't know about Greensboro.
It's coming back now too with Stranger Things, you know, being
Yeah,
big.
but I would love to learn how to roller skate. I would need like knee pads, elbow pads, butt pad, helmet, and a bunch of pillows duct taped around my body. But I am down. I'm down to learn.
What if I told you you don't need any of that stuff?
What do you mean?
I don't do that. All I do is put the skates on my feet and I go. And it had been a while since I'd been, and I fell like 15 times
Oh yeah,
easily.
you fall a ton. Like
But-
that's the thing.
You just brace yourself, and it's okay.
Okay, but the last time I went ice skating, I broke my arm.
But your dad also was decapitating rats. I mean, you were ice skating in different places.
Okay, I will go roller skating. I just need to buy a pair of skates.
Well, when you roller skate, you rent them.
Yeah, you can just rent them for $5.
Okay, okay, but here's the thing. This is another thing. because I was born with a club foot, which was also like, if you don't know what a club foot is, it's kind of like born like twisted and contorted around, but mine was also like bent like this. And so when I was born, I had to wear a cast for 2 years, and they had to like break my foot and change my cast. Literally, when I was first born, they had to change my cast like every week, and then it was like every 2 weeks, and then for like 5 years I had to wear like leg braces and like orthopedic shoes, and I had to really learn how to like walk properly. So
I feel like this was in a deep recess of my mind. Like maybe you told me this and maybe not, but I didn't realize it. So
yeah, and then I've had foot surgeries.
Yeah.
So that's why like buying shoes is like really tricky too, because like if it rubs on like my scars, it's very painful, and I also have to do a lot of research. So I will probably still have to buy my own pair of skates to accommodate and make sure that they're comfy and wide enough. But yeah, this girl's got a Frankenstein foot, which I am totally okay with. I have learned to work around it. You know, when I go get pedicures, they're like, "Oh, what is that?" I'm like, it's okay. It's my foot. I understand. But yeah, so I will buy my pair of skates, and we can go hit up the rink.
Yeah.
Let
let's
us
go.
know when it gets delivered, and then Holly and I will show up at your house and be like, I bought a brand new pair of roller skates. You've got a brand new cue.
Yes. We'll go roller skating. Like I said, I haven't been in a while, but I love the aesthetics of a roller rink. It's just so fun. It's just the 90s scream, 80s too. I mean, I guess it's both, but it's just great. There's usually a disco ball in the middle of it. Like that's normal for a roller rink, is to have a disco ball.
Okay, but that is one thing I want to do. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So funny enough, my brother just had a Stranger Things roller skating party, and he was dressed as Dustin, and it was
That's right.
so cute.
You sent me a picture. It looked awesome.
It was really cool. And then later that night, we went. I did not attend the Stranger Things one, but later that night, I went with him because they wanted to go again. And it has just been too long since I've been on the rink. But now that I've been back, I'm like, you can't stop me. I gotta be on there.
You can't stop me now.
Don't stop me now. I can't. I'm in a musical mood.
Now, what about you, Sabrina?
Was it the?
It's the roller derby.
Roller derby. Okay.
But if I have to pick another one,
This is a whole penguin club thing again. What was it, Club Penguin thing again?
no, because this can unite us. We can both have that goal and then be in it together.
Yes.
And then Holly, you've got to join by proxy.
I mean, sure, I like skating, so let's go.
Let's smash some women.
Yes. That's roller derby. Is you're beating up each other on roller skates.
We're not talking about. Okay, wait. You said roller derby, but you said just skate.
Well,
so,
no, but I also said whip it.
Derby. Yeah.
I gotta learn how to skate.
She has to skate to get to her dream, which is the roller derby, which is the beating. My other thing is also exercise based. I want to do aerial yoga that you do like the
on
things.
the cloth.
Yeah, like it's on the
drapery.
ceiling, and then you look like an acrobat. That would be really fun. I have all these exercises I want to do, but I just need to get to like closer to my goal weight to actually do, just so I don't injure myself. But yes, I would say the two things I really would like to do without restriction, if I didn't let fear stop me, is roller derby and aerial yoga, because
Nice.
they seem really fun.
That's really cool. I hope we can help you get to that, and that you can get to that, and then we can join you.
Thank you, my friends.
Okay. So let's go into the nitty gritty. What is a friendship fear that you guys have?
Can I start with this one?
Yes. Go ahead. Start it.
I tried to highlight the thing, but it won't let me. My friendship fear is always like, am I being too much? Right? Like if I'm letting someone know my passions, or if I'm like trying to get them, like if I want to invite them to something that I think might be a little too weird. But like we've talked a lot about that on the podcast, and I've talked about like ringing the big bell and all that jazz. But I wanted to share something I saw on Facebook that I really liked, and I think actually my mom either shared it or sent it to me. She's actually my biggest inspiration, if you can tell by all of the quotes that I do.
I love that though. Your mom is great.
I love my mommy. She had posted something that said, and I think I shared it, was like, if I'm too much for you and you want me to shrink myself, then go ahead and choke. And I think that's really prevalent, right? Not just in friendship, but in normal life, is like, I think there's so many times that we emotionally monitor ourselves so that we can fit into a certain category or a box. And I think as women, especially, we can get boxed into things because society wants us to be, or the good old boys want us to be or perform a certain way or sound a certain way, whether it's within a house of worship or within your jobs. Like, I think there's this really big perception that you have to, and we're undoing it now more than ever, but I think sometimes, especially in the South, there's this feeling of like, you need to be this passive and quiet person.
Or you need to gift wrap yourself in order for people to accept you.
Yes. And I think the important thing here is, if you are a quiet and passive person and you are being your authentic self, fuck yes, be that person. Because if that is who you are, I love that, right? Because you are being you. But if you're not that, and you're trying to force yourself to be in a mold so you're more palatable to people, that's really hard. And I think the more that we are disingenuous about who we are, the harder it is for us to create genuine connection. And we're just going to continue to be these weird passing trains that we only talk about the weather, or we say that thing that we say like, oh, we really needed that rain. And that's your whole conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to challenge myself. And I know some people might be listening to this podcast and be like, bitch, you are vulnerable all the time. But I actually want to challenge myself to go deeper with friendships this year and not hang on to friendships that aren't serving me. Mm-hmm. I think that's a friendship fear, is people pleasing and hanging on to friendships that don't go further than the shallow area of the pool. So that's my friendship fear that I'm going to conquer this year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that's one that I can identify with. But for myself, it's almost it's along the same vein of yours. But for me, I fear letting people in when I'm not in a good place. Kind of like I'm scared to break face and have people see me when I'm not in my best mental state, mm-hmm. or like to let people into my home when I'm really like not doing well, because I want to always come off as like put together, like that I'm the person that you can go to if you need help. And so when it's myself, I really struggle with letting people in. Sure, like I'll express that like, yeah, I'm having a little rough time, but when it comes to like you entering in my life and seeing how I am and how I'm living, that's a completely different thing. And so, you know, now that I'm like approaching a state of where like maybe like I'm getting to the point where I want to start a family, and, you know, I'm going to have a child who makes messes, and, you know, my house is not going to be in a perfect state all the time. And, you know, I'm not going to be in a perfect state all the time. And so having people come over and me worrying about them seeing me not put together, like that is something that I fear and that I have a hard time doing. And so I think just being okay with the mess and understanding that it's my identity is not the mess. It's just a state that I'm in, right? Like, and if I'm messy, that's okay. Like, but because people are messy and we all go through phases. And so you can't come off as being perfect all the time. So yeah, I think letting people in and knowing that it's not going to be great all the time, but the people who stick around and the people who do check up on me and can see past like either like the pile of dishes that like, if I'm in an episode that I've just not been able to get to, or even like if I'm going through a phase where I'm really struggling to still let people in during that time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For me, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, number one, I just want to say I completely am there with you. I took off 2 hours of work on Friday to clean my house, even though the party was at 6. I also had to get groceries too, but because I was worried I had to mow the grass because the grass was really long, and like Philip was able to mow the grass, but he had to originally work until 5, and then he got off early, which was nice. But yeah, I was like, no one can see this house looking this way. I've got to clean everything when it probably wasn't as messy as what I really thought it was. And also, if my friends have a problem with seeing my house a little messy, then like, that's probably a bigger problem. But I'm with you. I want people to look to see me put together.
It's not even just like the house. It's like seeing me in that state, like seeing me all frazzled. Like that's like an extension of that. I think that's more what it is. But I also don't want people in my house when I'm in that, because I'm like, this is my nest. This is my depression nest. Don't come in. Kind of like a little troll underneath my bridge. I'm like, the sunlight. But
If you're not Gilmore Girls and a cup of coffee, get the fuck out of here.
really. But
Unless you're Gabby, then Gabby, come on up.
even Gabby, I'm like,
No, just kidding.
like.
For
never
context, Gabby is Kristen's dog, if you forgot our board game episode.
Yes. She's just very clingy, and like when I just like, I want to be alone. Stop following me. But go ahead, Holly. I'm so sorry I interrupted you.
You're good. But on top of like what Kristen said too, my biggest fear is that I always assume people are mad at me. And I know there's lots of memes shared on Instagram and things about this, but I always am afraid that I am hurting someone or not doing enough. It feels like a juggling effect where like we have friends that just recently moved, not super far away, like 30 minutes away, but I thought about this the other day. I was like, I haven't texted them. I haven't seen if they've been doing well. Oh my gosh. And then I go down this spiral of how am I supposed to call myself a good friend? I was in her wedding and I'm not even enough to like text her and see how her house is going. When really, I mean, I texted her a week after and it's only been like 3 weeks. So it's like, it's okay, right? I have to bring myself down from the spiral of it's all right. It's good. I am a good friend and she's been doing a lot too. She's been out of town. Like she's been busy. But I do this like thing where I think that I'm not doing enough and I've dropped part of the thing I'm balancing with friends. And so I need to go through all my friend lists and make sure that I've reached out to them or done something to them. Done something to them sounds funny, but you know what I mean? Like had some connection with them. I've poked this one and I've called this one. No, but like, I that's where I struggle is I feel like I'm not balancing friendships enough. And then I'm making people feel like they're left out because I haven't reached out enough. But again, I feel like I do that much more than I probably should. I probably should give myself credit more for facilitating friendships, but I tend to flip it around and think that I'm not.
I think the fact that you even think about that shows that you are a good friend, right? But it's the amount of like, do you just think about it or do you then start the mental beat down in your head of like, oh, I'm not a good friend because of XYZ? Because I can identify with that feeling.
Oh, completely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. Even like having 15 people over here on Friday night. Like I said something to a coworker about, we'll probably have about 15 people, like maybe 18, but some people were sick and couldn't come. And she was like, I don't even know if I have that many amount of friends to invite. And then it was this kick in the pants basically of like, stop complaining. You have such a wonderful group of friends that are coming. Like, don't worry about it. It's going to be really fun. And you don't have to please everybody all the time. It's really fun. But I get into the mental, like the beating of like, maybe I should have invited them because they're really nice. Or they send me a birthday card and I haven't said thank you. Or it can just go down into a spiral very quickly.
And that is like such a type 2 Enneagram. We're bringing it back. But that's very much in the vein. Like, I completely agree with that. That is something that I think about too.
I mean, as a type 7, I feel like it's honestly an anxiety trauma response, to be honest, because especially if you felt the other side of it before.
Yeah.
And you are an empathetic person, I think there's always balance to everything, right? Like, I feel like anxiety can serve its purpose from time to time. Shocking, I know. But it's how far we let it take us that I think is the hardest piece. So I think it's really good that you recognize that and you're like, I'm gonna show myself some grace, or at least that's what I was inferring, is that you're trying to show yourself
I'm
grace.
trying to do better about that. Yeah.
And I think that's really fucking cool. And I'm proud of you both for being able to kind of be like, ah, and then also like, ah, you know, from ah to ah.
Sound effects are something we totally understand.
Yes. Yeah. So speaking of things that we're trying to get better at, which is what I think this whole podcast is about, being better at friendships, being better at cultivating adult friendships, because as we've said, they are so hard, so fucking hard, adult friendships. That's what we've been trying to do this whole season, is talk about themes around this, talk about ways that could help with it, with making adult friendships, maintaining them, facing those, anxiety spirals or worries that you might have around making friends, or, keeping the ones that you have, or even, breaking up with friends. We talked about that too. However, today for our season finale, we got to face real fears together. We've been thinking about this since we even decided to start the podcast, right? I don't know. You want to talk about that, Sabrina?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you heard Jessica's podcast, I Am Power, I'd recently gone on and I got to share kind of a little bit more detail. But really, the Reader's Digest version is the three of us, we knew we were funny bitches. We knew we wanted to do something together. I personally wanted Holly and Kristen to hang out with me more. So together, we concocted a plan of how can we hear our voices and have something that people would want to hear.
Type 7.
Yeah, listen, I got type 7 energy. I got CEO energy,
Type
and I'm
7
proud,
and
baby.
Leos.
That's right.
It is CEO energy, and I'm proud, baby. I got side hustles on side hustles, and this is one of them. So, no, in all actuality and seriousness, though, we were meeting at coffee shops, and I think later at Holly's house, and we were like popcorning what are some ideas of what we could do, right? And one of the ones we had talked about was like facing our fear factor, but not necessarily like eating worms version, but more of what are things as adults that are scary to us that we could take on. And then later, just through conversation, that's how because friendship's one of the fucking scariest things in a way, because you're always balancing yourself and other people's emotions, and you want to do the right things, but also just adulting is fucking hard. And so that's how we ended up landing where we ended up landing. But yes, so it's funny in our season finale that we are actually exploring something that may have been the whole premise of this podcast. But if you want more info, listen to I Am Power.
Okay. So I guess we are going to just jump in and dive and talk about our tangible fear, or just, I guess today was a very literal fear. I am scared of chickens. A little less scared today, but yes. So a little context as to why I am scared of chickens. First of all, I will note that this bird, they have beady eyes, and birds just in general are not predictable. They squawk, they've got talons, they're as closely related to dinosaurs as you can get. But when I was little, there was an instance where I was trapped inside of a chicken coop, and there was an element that caused the chickens to be startled, very understandably so. And because I was stuck in there, I got scratched up. I am asthmatic, so of course the chickens were kicking up dust and poo-poo and, just a whole bunch of stuff. So I had a full-on asthma attack in there too. And yeah, it took a little while to get me out. And I was scratched up. So it's not like today I eat chickens out of vengeance. That's not the case. But yeah, I held a chicken today. I fed chickens. I observed their coop, and yeah, I mean, they are soft, and I can understand why people like to hold them for fun. And
she looks at Sabrina across the room.
Honestly, Sabrina's like fearless in my book, but and so I held chickens, actually plural. Yeah. And so I feel good about it. You know, I don't think tomorrow I'm going to start a chicken coop in my backyard. Also, I can't because I'm renting. But maybe in the future, I might be okay walking around and among the chickens. Yeah. Chicken Run is a little less scary. Now I'm supportive. I'm kidding.
Isn't it an allegory for the Holocaust?
It really is.
So
But
you'll
I
be
do love
renting-
Chicken Run.
You'll be renting Chicken Little now?
Yep.
Yeah, Chicken Little did not bother me. I think that's the point, though. He's very, very cute. And yeah, a chicken is cute. Yeah, and silky chickens. I want the really fluffy ones.
Silkies are so cute.
I think I'm going to hold one of those next.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's my fear. Not so much scary anymore. A little scary, but not so much.
Proud of you.
Also, I do have a hookup for silkies if you need that. I do genuinely know someone with silkies.
I do too.
You do. They're so fun.
I have the poultry hookup.
The poultry hookup.
Yes.
So first too, I want to say that like, I think it's interesting because me and you I could see on our faces easier, and Sabrina will share about what she did today, but like me and you, I could see your face easier whenever you were like holding a chicken for the first time, and mine is snakes, and we actually went to the same place to experience both. But I could tell on your face that like you were working through all of the emotions. Like that's how I know it was truly really hard for you. Yeah. So great job, because you were sat there and you held this chicken. A 7-year-old was running around and screaming at chickens too. So like you really did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. That made it a little bit more hectic because the way she was running around and like startling the chickens made it very uncomfortable. Like
She's talking about the 7-year-old, but she's also talking about me, because when we first went out there, I was really excited about the chimkins, and I went to go pet one, and she literally, Kristen went into mom mode and said, "Please don't. Please do not. Please don't run to the chickens." I was like, okay. And then I walked to the chickens.
but I really appreciate you responding to my fear and like just like adjusting yourself for my needs. But thank you. I do appreciate that, because I know your enthusiasm was much enthusiasm.
Off the charts. I was
Yes.
really excited.
Yeah, but yeah, the chickens were popping like kernels. So like it was a lot, but it was good.
So Holly, what did you face today, girl?
Yeah, and so I also want to say shout out to the Young family. They were so awesome. It was a friend of a friend's neighbor, basically, that helped us when we put a shout out of we need a place with snakes and chickens that have both. That could potentially be free for us to go and hold. The Young family stepped up, and they were so fun, and their daughter is so comfortable around all their animals. So that's why she was running around and just having a great time.
So cute.
She was so excited too. She's so excited. So thank you to the Young family for helping us. So mine is snakes, and my background with snakes is more, I think, mental than ever physical. I've never been bitten by a snake. I've barely touched snakes before today. It's just purely the essence of like slithering and moving. Kristen doesn't necessarily love snakes either, so she's also the same in this. But I don't know, it just moves weird. And when I was younger, probably 20 or so, I was living in Charlotte at the time, and we had gone to my cousin's wedding. And I came back in, and I lived on the ground floor of my family's house at this time. And we walked in, turned the lights on, and there was a long, I'm talking 8 foot long at least, black snake in the doorway of the bathroom that was attached to my room. And I was like, oh my God, what is it doing in here? Oh my God, like we live in Charlotte, like we're not in the woods or anything. You know, it's just like, what? We're in the suburbs. So it was really just ridiculous that this was even here. And so I ran out of the room screaming like bloody nonsense because I was so upset. And Philip and my mom and my sister were there. And so by the time that I got them to come back in to my room, the snake was gone. And my bathroom on this downstairs was next to the plumbing, like the water heater and everything, and it was connected there. There was a wall. And so we think it got through one of the pipes over there, but we never found it. Like, we searched my entire room, under the bed, under the couch, in the closet, in the bathroom, in the water heater. We never found this snake. And we even called the head of the Boy Scouts group at the church that my family goes to, just to come in and really look as an extra person that's familiar with snakes. And he said something that's very accurate that Miss Young also said today, was that it was probably terrified of you when you screamed and ran out of the room. So it got out of there. It said goodbye. That it's not coming back, you know? You scared it. But I had a hard time sleeping there that night. Like, I couldn't get past the idea that I didn't know where it went, the finality of it. And then it just has turned into this, I check my bed for snakes every night. And I've done this for 5 years. I couldn't get over it. I don't like being near them. I don't like seeing pictures of them. I've seen pictures of them coiled in toilets and just things that are just like, no. And then my brain just takes over into this problem. So that was one of the things where it's like, I think if I could hold one and be around one, it would probably make me feel better, so they don't feel like this super scary thing that I've turned them into. And that's completely correct. Today, Miss Young, they had an amazing snake called Snowflake. They weren't exactly sure if it was a girl or boy, so this wonderful snake Snowflake was held by all of us and was so nice. I don't think I will, same as Kristen, I don't think I'm going to go out and get a snake. They're really cool, and it was a beautiful snake. It was probably like 3 feet. It wasn't very big. It was a baby. But not a baby in the sense how like copperheads are babies, and if they bite you, it's even worse than adults. But I've also done research on snakes. If you can tell.
Holly's next TED Talk.
Yes, snakes, and yeah. But I honestly, I think if I were around them more, I probably wouldn't be so scared of them. And it was so true. Once I held it and touched it, I remember when I passed it to you, I even was like gonna help. I went into like a help mode, not a runaway mode, which is normally how I am with snakes. It was so, I think just being around it really, really helped.
I was so proud of you for coming to my rescue. Yeah, I think today I was the most scared out of everyone, which is fine. That is okay.
It's okay. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you did great. Like, so good. I can't emphasize how good you did, because you went in there and you're like, you set boundaries. You're like, no, I need you.
Yeah.
Can we double hand this? Can we both hold this creature together? But then, Miss Young, she read you. You were a little bit more confident, and she let you just have it, and you held it like a pro. You allowed Snowflake to explore your body, not in a weird way, just in a very
You just hurt Sabrina across the room.
Well, you just let Snowflake have a good time, and you made Snowflake feel safe in your arms.
Thank you.
See, yes. I fucked around and put Snowflake around my neck as if I was Britney Spears.
I'm a slave for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But thank you. I think it was helpful. And another thing too that I've gotten really good at is not showing my emotions when I'm scared, because I'm really scared of as well. Probably my second fear would be stinging, flying objects. Any hornets, wasps. My dad had a major anaphylactic problem when I was younger, and I've never really been stung by a hornet. I've been stung by a bumblebee and I was okay, but I've always been really worried in the back of my head that that's going to be the time I go into anaphylactic shock, is when I get stung by one of these things. Probably not. Again, it's all mental. But around kids, you cannot show that you're scared when things like that happen. And our school gets a lot of wasps that just will randomly come in because it's an old school. So I know maybe I didn't show it, but I was freaking out the instant she put it in my hand. I wanted her to take it away.
I could see it in your, like you said, with me, you could see it that I was processing my fear, and I could see it in you. But the way you were controlling your body and your actions reflected that you were, one, respectful of the snake, that you were holding a benign creature that was not going to hurt you, and you were following directions really well.
When she told me to breathe.
Yes, breathing. take that cue. Breathing is important when conquering a fear. But you did such a good job, truly. And, you know, it was seeing you hold the snake so calmly made me feel like I could hold it. Because I was going to pretend like, nah, bruh, I'm good. This is not something that I need to conquer.
I know you got a 2-for-1 special today, Kristen.
It was a
lot.
It was a whopper.
I'm really proud of both of you guys. In
I'm
like
proud
all
as well.
seriousness, you guys, you went in, and you had to deal with the anticipation for like a week and a half of like, oh fuck, like we had talked about doing this, but I think it didn't really feel real until there were like plans. And then that's a lot of like impending doom. And so to navigate actually doing the thing, and then the celebration portion of like, I did the fucking thing is good. And I think you honored all 3 of those. So I'm proud of you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. It's your turn now. You should go.
Okay, so I have a few fears. Shocking, I know. The anxiety, it likes to be powered by fear. And one of those big fears is fireworks. But I didn't choose fireworks for this because I have had to do so much fireworking in the last few weeks. So I've been having to I was at a baseball game and they came on and I forced my eyeballs to be open. And then I was at a comedy thing, not knowing it was right next to the Greensboro Grasshoppers. And oh, see, Holly, you're starting it up.
Sorry, I dropped my phone. I was not trying to scare you.
And then a bunch of fireworks because the idiot box is literally right near the Grasshoppers. So they just start going all over the ceiling. It was not fun. So, but they were beautiful. And I'm really trying to get to a place that I accept them. But I didn't want to choose that for this because I've done enough fireworking for the past few weeks. So what I selected, and if you saw our image, you saw there was a snake and a chicken and a clock. And guys, I'm afraid of clocks. I'm afraid of time. I'm afraid of the noises.
Stranger Things, isn't it?
Yeah. Tick tock. No.
Did you finish that?
No, but I think I'm on season 3, but I've seen some memes.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Season 3 is still my favorite, but anyway, keep going.
but it was funny because in season 3 we go behind a mall, which will come up in just a moment. Earmark that for you. So I say shorthand that I'm afraid of the elderly. I'm not afraid of old people in the way you think. It's not the smell of old person or the wrinkles. That's not the Halloween nightmare that I have in my head. I don't like the idea of getting older, and not for vanity purposes. I mean, I think I'll be a very hot 80-year-old with bright purple hair. That's not my problem. I am afraid of getting to the point in my life that I won't be able to take care of myself and that I will lose mental proficiency or my memories, or that I won't be able to do things for myself. I'm a really independent person. I mean, I love my husband. We depend on each other and I depend on my family for things. But for my day-to-day life, I am very independent. And so that's a really difficult thought for me to process. And then to couple that with potentially being a burden to loved ones that I don't even know yet, right? Because I just assume that the kids I have in the future, I might actually like them and love them. And I don't want to think about doing that to anybody. And so that's really hard for me. And I'm working on that, right? I think everybody has fears. As we were talking earlier in the car, everybody feels a little odd about getting old. And that's okay. So unfortunately, I was not able to find an elderly person that wanted to talk about death, dying, and their current stage of relying on others in a dysmorphic way.
Kind of a hard conversation.
I didn't feel like traumatizing Glenda or anyone else. So once I chucked that idea out, we were exploring what other fears I have. And I don't love heights. So Kristen took me to one of those back alleys of a mall that connects to other stores. And there was a very, very tall ladder, at least 20 feet. I think that's what we've agreed is the number.
Yeah, it was a roof access, basically,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was cool looking. I was really sad because there was no upside down on the other side. I didn't open it though. So there's still a chance. But I climbed it and it was fine going up. Like that's not the part that was bothering me. And once I got like to like 18 feet, I still was feeling pretty okay. It wasn't until I reached the top and I was like, shit, now I have to go down. That's the part I don't like, because like with the going up, you're in control. You feel control because you can see what you're doing. But when you're going down, you have to trust every faculty in your body other than vision. And I mean, I guess unless you're thin, which go you. But for me, it's a little bit of a challenge. So I'm having to feel with my Converse feet for the bottom part. And I'm trying to navigate, like my hands are sweaty and I don't want to fall. And for me, I want it done. So I'm going very fast. Like I don't want to, like I was stopping at some points to breathe, but like most of it, I didn't want to take it slow. I just wanted it to be over because then I'm in control. And I think the reason that it went okay and why most of my fears go okay is I'm a huge adrenaline junkie. So like as much as I'm hating it, I'm also fucking loving it because it's scaring me. And I love the adrenaline of being scared, which is why I love stand-up comedy. And even though I have extreme anxiety about things, the mind fuckery doesn't happen until after it's over and right before. But during it, it's a high. Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel like when I'm holding animals that might be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or I'm doing things that are a little bit crazy, it's also fun. And so for that feeling alone, it's really exciting and cool.
Well, I'm just proud of all of us, because even though you didn't get to find an older person who you could talk to about that, you opening up about your fear and being vulnerable in itself was really something to be admirable. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I think one thing we need to talk about is when there is something that you're scared of, it could be, yes, a physical fear, but it could be like an emotional or mental fear. And how you have people in your life that can make it easier to overcome, or that you can just ease it and make it less scary for you. And I think we need to talk about some of those reasons that make it so.
I mean, for me, I'll be honest, like I always get out of my head when I'm around other people. If I am by myself and there is a snake, which has happened before in one of my apartments, I was trying to get back in my apartment after throwing away trash barefoot, because of course I walked out barefoot, and didn't think this through. And I saw a snake in my path. Like I immediately freaked out. Like I didn't know what to do. I ended up running around the entire apartment complex and going in the back door because I could not pass this small little snake that was probably a foot long. You know, like I couldn't do it. But when I'm around other people, almost, I think it's a good thing. I want to be better. I want to show that I'm better. And it's not necessarily a show off thing. It's just it'll be okay because there's other people who can take care of me if something does happen. But also like, I know that they're going to keep me accountable and want me to do my best. So I'm going to do my best. You know, like I'm going to be the best person right now. That's how my brain goes. It's the same thing like I was talking about with kids. Like I want them to see that something scary, you can have a deep breath, try it, do your best, and focus on what's important. You know, like I want to be that person. And so I become that person when I'm around people that I really, really trust. I don't know if that's the same for everybody else, but I really, really usually will want to be that around other people.
Such a people pleaser.
I know, but it's good for me too.
Yes.
Aren't we all recovering people pleasers in this room?
Yes, we
Kettle
are.
calling the pot black.
Yes.
Kristen.
But to kind of add on to that, you know, thinking about even today, if I didn't have you guys, I wouldn't have even really wanted to do this. Mm-hmm. Like I would not have put myself in a position to even try and overcome this fear, because one, it's a fear that's pretty easy to avoid, you know. Yeah. Like chickens aren't a common animal that people have, and if they do, I usually manage well to avoid them, mm-hmm. or just not go over and see the chickens. But you know, just having people who, when you do express something, they say, hey, I'm here with you. And for me, it's not something that's scary, but I understand it's scary for you. But I want to be there for you and I want to help you overcome it. What are things that I can do for you? And, Sabrina did a really great job of this. In the car on the way over there, she asked, how can I better help you guys in overcoming this fear? Do you need me to be an example and to like hold it and show that it's going to be okay, that you don't have to worry? Or do you just need to like, kind of raw dog it and just like...
I did not say raw dog, but yes, please keep going. Shower me with your praise.
Just kind of like free ball it, you're...
Why are there so many balls, Kristen?
You put me
I said, do you need to rip the Band-Aid off or something? Like, no, I didn't. I think I said, do you just need to get it over with?
Get it over with. Okay. That's what we're going with.
There were no balls or dogs involved.
So funny.
But thank you for
There were lots
recognizing
of
me.
dogs involved, though.
Oh, they were really
Yeah,
cute dogs.
But that helped me because you kind of put the ball in my court on how I want to approach it. But, I think friends can give you the confidence, and oftentimes friends can see your strengths a lot more than you can see. And they know how much more you can handle when you're doubting yourself. And so I think being vulnerable and talking to your friends helps a lot, but also just knowing that you have a support system who will push you and support you and challenge you to be better, to do or overcome or just grow as a person. I think that's a wonderful thing that you have, and that, I'm thankful for you guys. So thank you.
We love you guys. Yes. I think the other thing is just making sure like there's helpful and then there's hurting, right? And that's why the communication's so important, because it would have been a dick move to get there and be like, even though I love snakes and chickens, like for me to be like, give me the snake, give me the chimkins, goodbye. Like that would have been very rude. But then also, if we had done this episode and like we weren't actually ready to face our fears, because there's like a lot of internal work you've got to do. You can't just face your fear because of peer pressure. It's different to be pressured, and then it's different to have support, because when you're open to doing it and like you're open to being vulnerable, because this is a form of vulnerability, especially when you're in front of other people, there's a lot of radical, beautiful things that can come from that. But if you're doing it just because people are telling you to do it, it's like the snake. You don't want to put your fingers in front of a snake because they're going to recoil with stress and they're going to be on the attack, right? So don't place yourself in a plate. Don't place yourself in a box to please other people because you think you should be a certain way. Because at the end of the day, everyone's journey should be on their own timeline. And as a friend, your job is to support that person. Now, I think it's okay to ask questions if that person's comfortable. Like if Holly had said, I'm actually really freaked out by snakes. And if I had said, hey, Holly, are you okay telling me why? And if Holly's like, no, I'm going to respect that. Mm-hmm. But if Holly's like, yeah, thanks for asking. Here's what happened. Da-da-da-da. And if Holly opens the doorway of like, and one day I'd really love to face that, I can be like, you know what, man, I'll be there when you're ready.
Can I add something? Mm-hmm. So in being vulnerable with someone and their response to your fear is like, I can't believe you're scared of that. That's so silly. That's ridiculous. Of course snakes aren't scary, or chickens aren't scary, or, it's just a ladder. It's just a height, gaslighting you. If their response to that is reminiscent of that, I think just be mindful of that and know that's probably not the safest person to welcome in your journey in overcoming that fear or being a part of that journey. Or do be mindful about who you open and how far you are, like to the extent of vulnerable that you are with them. Because you do want to be with someone who's safe, who respects you and doesn't belittle you in that kind of sense, because you never know why someone could be scared of that or what in their life has caused them to be that way. And so just protect yourself and when you do find someone who is genuine and wants to be there for you, that's a wonderful find.
Look for the jolly green giants in your life. Like, there are just so many green flags. You can't help but see that versus the people filled with red flags that they look like Clifford the big red dog. Jolly green giant all the way.
But also I like Clifford.
Clifford's good as a dog,
But
not
not
as an
as- yeah.
asshole human.
Not as a red flag human, no.
No.
No, I hear you. I'm just being silly. But yeah, no, for sure. I just think it's so fun that we did it. I don't know. I just feel really proud of myself. This has been something that I've been worried about for probably 10 years, maybe, more like 8, but still something I never wanted to do. And now I just did it. Like, it was fine. I did it and I got over it. And, if I ever see a snake outside, I might be able to kind of, not freak out as much. Just walk past it and move on.
Yes. I'm really proud of us.
Also, Sabrina, one thing you left out, you climbed up 15 to 20 feet. That was a big ladder. Like just don't want you to gloss over how tall that was. So well done.
Thank you.
We also documented a lot of this, so we'd be more than happy to share our little an overlude of our conquering of our fears.
A montage of
Montage of badassery, yes. That is a great way to put it.
Well, guys, as we come to a close, since we reminisced about what started this podcast, why don't we reminisce about some of the badass things we did? I mean, we literally conquered something as far as making a fucking podcast. So share with me, if you had to choose one, because there's so many delicious ones, which episode has been your favorite so far?
I even had a heads up on this and I still am thinking. Because my first reaction is to say the activity as being the fun part, because I just wanted to do fun things. I just wanted to have fun and do weird things. If I'm thinking of just the activity, probably the thrifty one where we got to go to Reconsidered Goods. That was so fun. And then we had a mystery bag to open. Awesome. We had a friend go with us. We had Shelby join us, which was really fun. I think that was a really cool episode. And I mean, I need to play my recorder more, but that was really, really fun. So just for the funsies, I think it was that one. I think that the most impactful one for me was, and I'm looking back to get the exact name, was it Thrifty? It was the one where we talked about friend breakups.
That was the axing one.
That was the axe. That's right, because the axe.
Throw that axe in a circle.
Yeah, I also really liked axe throwing too, honestly. I think that was a really impactful episode because I think that's something that I don't like to do. I don't like to end friendships, but I think it's necessary sometimes. So that would be my 2 answers, the fun one and then the discussion part.
For myself, I really loved the Freddy Fish episode.
Yes.
I loved it just because, one, our whole intention of this podcast was initially just to hold ourselves accountable with hanging out with each other more consistently. And so just spending that time and playing just a super nostalgic game was a lot of fun. But also, shit happens. And, we just had a lot of fun, and seeing all of our personalities when interacting with that interface was a lot of fun. Is we all had different approaches. I wanted to find the clues, and I was on a mission, and Sabrina was, let's just go rinky dink around, and and then you just like to play around as well. But
I don't care. Yeah.
you're like, what does this button do?
I found a lot of joy in you pressing the X button. That was where I loved
my favorite part.
Yeah, I'm still mad about myself because I've just now opened up. Well, I done goofed, and that has just been an expression that I've coined from that, and it happens a lot. I done goofed, but. Yeah, that would be my favorite personally.
My favorite was Never Bored Among Friends. The one that we had the game night and I deleted all of the footage.
You done goofed?
I done
You
goofed.
done goofed.
It was my favorite done goofed moment. And that is because we had the most delicious cheese board. And it's probably the one that I've laughed the hardest while recording. As far as listening back, whichever one we had the Club Penguin, was that Freddie Fish or was that Cringe and Unhinged?
Cringe.
Yeah, I think it was Cringe. Yeah.
Cringe.
That's my favorite opener. The like Anna Delvey, You Don't Know My Daddy and My Puffles. That was the best.
Yes. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was Cringe. Yeah.
Those, I think the thing that I like the most is our quotes. Like, I think they're just really fucking funny. But Never Bored Among Friends is my favorite because I learned stuff about you guys that I didn't know before. And I really love playing board games. So whenever I get to play board games is great. And I just remember, even though it was one of the episodes we drank, which we've learned our rhythm is caffeine and not alcohol. But I think the reason I love that one the most is we were kind of loosey-goosey, but we just had so much genuine fun, and you could hear it on the other side. Like I edit the podcast mostly, and so I usually have to listen to these episodes about 8 times. So that one was the most easy to listen to. My least favorite was the DIY one, just because we recorded for 2 hours. The content was great, but because we had over 2 hours of recording, that one I wanted to stab my eye out. But the rest of them, great.
Yeah. The Kid Nation one was a lot of fun too, just because I had never heard of Kid Nation, and just seeing how ridiculous it was. And just we talked a lot about dynamics in that episode as well, which I think set off a good tone for the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, I can't say there was an episode that I didn't like doing with you guys. Just every moment that we've had has just been so much fun, and I'm so grateful that we've had this opportunity to foster an even stronger friendship through this, and that we've been able to impact and touch people's lives. And I hope going forward that we can continue to do that and grow even more. And just we're excited about where this next season leads us.
And during this hiatus, there's 2 things we'd love to hear from you guys. Number 1, what was your favorite episode? What was the thing that made your sides hurt the most? Or what made you cry? What made you grow? Like, we want to know those things. Tell us one or all of those answers. And the second thing we'd love to know is, what do you want to see next season? I mean, we can keep brainstorming and come up with some cool ideas. And trust me, there are some cool ideas. But we would love to know, is there something you want us to touch on? It doesn't even have to be an activity idea, but if there's a friendship thing that you've been stewing or thinking or marinating on, let us know. Or if you're like, I want to hear about you guys falling on your asses at the roller rink, tell us and we'll share with you.
So is that our prescription? Having them reach out to us and tell us exactly what they want or what they're excited about, or even tell us what they really loved about this season.
Yes.
But then maybe bringing it another prescription. So a double whammy is what?
Sorry. First, where can they tell us?
Where can they tell us?
Slide into our DMs, baby. You can, no, just kidding. But you can DM us via Instagram. You could DM us on Facebook. You can comment or write on our Facebook page, or you can send us an email over at
solvingthefriendemic@gmail.com.
That's right. So what's the next prescription, Kristen?
What are fears that you have in your life? What are things that are holding you back in fostering stronger friendships, or even physical physical fears? What are things that you are scared to do? And maybe challenge yourself with opening up with a friend and talking about it and seeing what your game plan can be to make it a little easier on yourself. And maybe, for all you know, they might be someone that also shares that fear. Like Holly and I are scared of snakes. So knowing that you were also scared made me feel a little better. Mm-hmm. Having that kind of conversation and starting that, and just trusting people a little bit more, and just constantly challenging yourself to grow.
We would love if you would tag us. If you feel brave enough to post something that represents you facing your fear, whether it's a sketch or a photo of you doing it, please tag Solving the Friendemic. And you can use the hashtag STFEARS, so STFears, and hashtag it, and we'll look at those.
Yeah, we're excited to be a part of your journey too. And, if there's something that you've been scared to talk about or scared about overcoming in your life, if you don't necessarily have an immediate friend, we want to be a resource for you that you can feel like you can open up to us about. We want to encourage you guys to go out in your life and live fearlessly and live authentically. And we just want to assist in helping you foster really awesome friendships, because those are the treasures that you get to carry through the rest of your life.
Now, bestie, it might be a little bit until you hear our voices again, so feel free to keep grabbing that coffee, stay hydrated with some water, and make choices that make you feel good.
I also have an extra prescription.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
Is this more like a vitamin?
No, this is the best way to end this. Are you ready? Okay. Are you ready? My prescription for having friends and cultivating adult friendships is to start a podcast.
Yes.
Overall, just commit to something weird and have fun. Do a podcast. Go hold a snake and a chicken.
And talk to your fellow old people about their mortality. Or climb a ladder illegally. Either way.
Illegally.
I think it is legal. I think it's fine. There wasn't a sign that said not to.
Dear government or court of law, this was a joke. Joke joke. This is not permissible for use in the court of law. Thank you, and back to your regular scheduled programming.
Well, guys, we are just so excited that you've been here with us, and we are just so excited to see where we go next. Mm-hmm. But we just want to say goodbye to you guys for a short little bit while we get our shit together again. So this was Solving the Friendemic with your host.
No, you got to do it right. You've been listening to
Solving the Friendemic with your hosts.
Well, you're starting it. You got to say Kristen.
With myself? I never start with myself.
Well, I always start with myself, so start with your fucking self. If you're going to steal it, do it right, bitch.
Okay, why don't you do it?
No, it's okay. It's yours. Do it.
I didn't mean to steal it. I was just so excited.
I'm being funny. Do it. But you have to say you've been listening to Solving the Friendemic with your hosts.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay.
Let's do it together.
You've been listening to Solving the Friendemic with your hosts,
Kristen,
Sabrina,
and Holly. Goodbye.
We love you. Bye.
Okay, Holly, do welcome to the outtakes.
Oh, sweet. Okay, all right, hold on. Okay. This is the slithering, chicken eating, crazy time committing to a podcast with your friends outtakes.
Okay, let me stop.
Hey, this is Kristen with Solving the Friendemic.
Amazing. And this is Sabrina, a human.
I really like hummus.
Are those the garlic ones?
Rosemary and
Oh, have you ever done the roasted garlic ones? They're so pungently garlic, but
Talking to the fucking mic.
they're so garlicky. Garlic.
Okay, I think that sounds good. Holly, can you talk into the mic for me, please? Yeah, crunch test.
I'm crunching. This sounds so gross. I don't even like this. This is bad.
I kind of enjoy it.
Is this ASMR? This is ASMR.
I like it.
A whole Triscuit.
Yeah, please. On mic.
Hold on.
No hummus to moisten it.
I need a fresh mouth for this.
Dry.
Banana.
I think that will dry you up forever.
I think that's just gonna be everyone's like problem word in my friend group now because of what I did. You ready?
Oh, that was crystal fucking clear.
Wait.
I want to do one.
Do it.
Y'all are ridiculous. That's what y'all are.
For context, they're eating Triscuits.
Yeah, thank you.
We never said what you were doing.
You know, just making it on the outtakes, right?
Yeah,
No,
fine. I'm
you're
fine.
sure?
I have no shame at this
No,
point.
no shame.
Amazing. I cannot eat Triscuits or else I would wow you. But you'll just have to imagine, dear listener, what I would sound like eating Triscuits. All right, let's get into it.
Hold on. Outline.
Okay. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this record. Usually I stop it and save the outtakes as something separate, but I'm just gonna we can clean
Alright,
it
cool.
up later. Oh, phone silent. Let me do that.
So,
Let's go back. Let's relish in this.
Rewind.
Lord help me. It's been a long day. It really has been a very productive day.